On this episode, we chat about our Thanksgiving trip, tent camping at Disney's Fort Wilderness campgrounds and cabins. Today is December 7th, 2021, and this is episode 415 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. And if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. But then if you want even more content, including in-park, resort, at-home live streams. We did a ton of live streams during this trip. You get discounts on Main Street Magic merchandise, and there's a whole lot more. Visit wonderlandcrew.com and check out our Patreon group. And as the holidays are coming, if you want to order coffee, maybe, themed coffee for your family and friends, or candles from Walter and Rosie Candle Company, send a charcuterie box to one of your friends or family that are visiting Disney, go to msmfriends.com and check out our awesome partners. And then finally, if you're getting ready to plan that next Disney or Universal vacation, maybe go on a cruise or basically travel anywhere else in the world, head to msmears.com to learn more about our wonderful travel partner, Melissa Pilgrim, with years of experience, and you can fill out a form for a free quote. This is what everybody's been waiting for. We've been talking about this for a while. Our trip, our Thanksgiving tent camping trip to Fort Wilderness.
Yep.
We booked this 499 days in advance. So this was a long time coming. Why don't you even maybe talk about from the beginning our initial booking and plan to what it ended up being and how we ended up in a tent, basically.
Well, from the very beginning, we were going to rent a camper because we didn't have one anymore. And I believe your parents were as well. Bad news is we are very bad procrastinators sometimes, and we put it off and did not get one, which leads me to say that we actually found some really good inexpensive ones. So we here in the future will try to do that, where they will drop it off. You'll just arrive at the site and then they'll pick it up and everything. Well,
you got to be more specific about inexpensive, because majority of the companies,
you found an Airbnb though.
Right. That's what
Okay.
Yeah, the majority of the companies, which are absolutely wonderful, and I think it's something everybody should try, but they are very expensive, and we're already looking at spending around $200 a night for the spot, and then we're looking at upwards of like $300 a night in addition for one of the big time camper companies to come in, set up, they'll decorate. I mean, they do a wonderful, wonderful job, but I was unaware that there are Airbnb for campers.
Yeah, that's surprising, but cool.
And like you said, by the time I found these, they were all booked. Again, 499 days in advance, Thanksgiving week will book out completely.
Yes.
So
but we
something
also waited way too late to try to get any of these. For sure.
And to be honest, even if one had been available, we weren't going to pay $500 a night total all in for 3 nights. Yeah. It wasn't going to make sense at that point. Also, back in June, if you remind everyone what we did then.
Right. We rented the Cruise America camper, and we were going to do that again. But for Thanksgiving weekend, they were not open Saturday or Sunday. So we would have had to return it on Monday.
Yeah.
And then we were going to House of Mouse Expo. So it just... I remembered we had a tent, and I remember we could stay on my parents' site. And I know Jeremy's been wanting to do this.
Everybody's been wanting us to do this.
So it was my idea, and I was like, well, why don't we just stay in our tent? I mean, it's supposed to be nice and cool. That's never the problem. It's so funny. The funniest part to me is when I would tell clients, they were like, oh my gosh, did you stay warm? And I was like, yeah, that wasn't the problem.
Yeah, not at all. Well, and when we originally booked, this was 4 sites. It was us, it was your parents, it was my parents, it was your brother and sister-in-law and their kids. As things, again, continually progressed, then we weren't going to be able to get a camper, not only for us, but for my parents.
Right.
So then we looked at, all right, we'll move my parents off site. We'll figure out whatever the heck we're doing. Then it became evident that we weren't going to be able to get a camper either. And we're like, well, if we move off site, we spearheaded this whole thing. It makes zero sense for us to visit your family every day at Fort Wilderness and then do Thanksgiving Day. And so my parents decided, all right, this isn't in the cards for us this year. We're still thinking, what do we do? And then that's when you came to me with the idea. And I remember you going, well, my parents said we could stay on their site in our tent. And I think my face lit up because I was like, we can?
You did. I should have videoed because I talked to my parents first because I knew we'd be getting rid of, our site. And I know that my parents probably would not make us pay. And here my brother and sister were. So I wasn't sure how that was going to work. But I first discussed it with them before saying something to you. And then when I did, I really should have videoed your face. He lit up like he was a kid on Christmas. And he was like, this is the best day ever.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, there's a lot of things. We started our family tent camping.
Yeah.
When I moved down
15 years ago.
I understand that. But it's one of those things to me that has a cool nostalgia. We used to go with a group of friends to Jekyll Island, Georgia. We'd do that once or twice a year, and we would all tent camp, and it was just so much fun. And there is something about it. And yes, we were much, much younger.
15 years younger.
So late 20s at this point. We got the camper, which we absolutely loved for almost a decade.
Yes.
And for, again, if we had an option, we'd stay at the cabins at Fort Wilderness every time.
Oh, absolutely.
One, during this time, they're probably going to be upwards of 600 to 700 a night, and they're going to be very hard to book. So I wanted to tent camp for two reasons. One, the nostalgia of it, and I do think it's a neat thing to do. And then number two, there are a lot of people that listen that are interested in it, whether they're locals or there's somebody, who thinks, well, you know what, we're in driving range and we could pack a tent. And maybe it is something we do during some of the cooler months. So I was so glad we got to do it. Just quick background, Fort Wilderness is really the third oldest resort at Disney World. It opened November 19th of 1971.
Right.
Walt Disney World opened October 1st.
Right.
In fact, the campground was somewhat, kind of set where a lot of the workers actually stayed over at the campground while they were working on Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. You have 800 campsites.
Nice.
And 409 cabins.
Wow.
Which is crazy because it's really only just above 1,200 rooms, we'll call it.
Right.
But it's a gigantic property.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you have each of these individual campgrounds that are so spread out and the cabins are spread out. Yep. So a little background there, but let's talk. And again, I've got my notes kind of like we did last episode with the processional and Epcot and ending up at Space 220. I've got my rough notes that we jot down during our trip. And we're just going to, again, kind of have a conversation and walk through everything from check-in to almost check out.
Okay.
And checked in that morning.
Yep.
And we got down there. What time did we even get down there? We got out of here, 8:39?
Yeah, I think we were
around 11.
I think it was around 11-ish because, we were thinking, all right, so this is my thought with the campgrounds, which is so funny to me. So check in, check out, is 11 o'clock. And check in is, I think they still say around 3.
Yeah.
Well, this is a site that I've watched them, the way they air quote unquote clean it is they spray it off, they blow it off, and that's about it. And they clean the grill
if it has stuff in it.
And then I think that's about it.
Yeah, and they probably, wrap up the little hose that's there if it needs. They make sure the sewer thing's screwed on, but in reality, it could be a 10 to 15 minute
correct
or less turnover time. Yeah.
So we've always said, people are checking out by 11. Like, we could get down there by then and it could be ready. And if we're there, it literally could be ready within 10 minutes. So when we checked in, she actually said it was already ready, which was perfect because my parents left about 10:45. So that was going to give us plenty of time to get all set up before they got there, and we could take the truck back up front and just because my dad and mom have a very large camper.
And truck to go with it.
Yes. So anyways, yeah. So we got there and checked in and set up, and then
How was set up?
I started to say, do you want me to stop? Like, what?
No, we
what's
can
going
go.
on?
Well, and what another thing, we wanted to make sure that we were there before your parents, because what you can do here is and they have a range of sites available. Everything from, there actually is a loop that is tent and pop-up camper style only, or very smaller campers sometimes if they're completely hard-sided. Everywhere from those to standard to premium. And a lot of that's going to depend on how much of your site is paved, whether like a premium site is fully paved or concrete basically, and you get down to maybe a standard site, it's like half, concrete and half crushed gravel.
Right.
And you can put a camper and a tent on each of these sites.
Right.
Some of them will even do multiple tents. I mean, we've seen a camper and 2 small tents. We have a very large tent. So getting there early, knowing we're going to set up at the back of the site, was also going to make it a heck of a lot easier than if we got there the same time at your parents or they were there first. Because,
absolutely.
you know what I mean? Carrying everything back through the site, like we backed right in, unloaded, set up. We had not set up that tent in quite some time.
Nope. And I'm very shocked that you remembered. But good job.
So here's the great thing about this tent. It's made by Columbia. It is I want to say 10 by 14 or so. No, 10 by 17 or something.
It's a 2-room tent,
2
as
rooms,
they call it.
7-foot ceiling. So like I can stand up completely in it. But everything is perfectly color coded. So that even if you hadn't set this thing up in a decade, it's just like, well, green pole goes in green little doohickey. Yeah,
you had to figure it out though a little bit.
But it was pretty quick setup. And let's talk some about kind of, I guess, the setup of the tent, and we can go into some recommendations for people that are thinking of doing this.
Okay.
And then one more thing I did want to touch on when you're saying, checkout's 11. A lot of people check out much, much earlier. A lot of people travel from all over the country with their campers, and they need to get a head start. I mean, shoot, the people next to us that one morning left at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, I think
literally. So what you'll do, and my dad always did this.
16-hour
drive.
My goodness.
My dad would always do this, is the night before would literally almost break everything down, would even hitch up the camper, but leave the pads and stuff down. So in the morning, could pretty much wake up, put your slides in, pack a few things, and pull out real easily in the dark. And that's what a lot of people do here. So often if you get there early, your site will be ready. What things do you think are necessary if tent camping at Fort Wilderness? First up, if it's in the summer, you need some sort of portable fan or AC unit for your tent. And if it's in the winter, like we were, because it was getting down to 40s and 50s at night, a portable heater. What else are some of the key points though that you think? And let's pretend that you don't have
my parents'
a giant
camper.
luxury fifth wheel on your site with a bathroom and kitchen and things like that. What types of things should people make sure that they've got packed and ready to go if they're going to do this?
Well, I would say obviously air mattresses, and if it's summer, I would say a sheet, but maybe not blankets, what you would need in the winter. But, if it gets cool enough down and you have an air conditioner in there, a portable AC, you'll have electric. So then all the extension cords and stuff to plug stuff
Power
in.
strip. Make sure you got power strip in there. And along with saying things that are electric, a light of some sort. What we did that worked really well is we brought 2 little boxes of 100 Christmas lights. And we had 2 of those, and I strung them up on top of the tent ceiling, which basically provided us our light.
Yeah, because I don't think I realized at one point when I turned them off, like, holy crap, if we didn't have these, I couldn't see.
Oh, it'd be pitch black in there.
So it was pretty dark.
And for air mattresses, invest in a pretty decent one. The one that
or
we
maybe
had,
a cot. I don't know.
They do have those folding cots you could do. I don't think they'd be as comfortable, but check your air mattress before you go. We had to throw Kaylin's out after the second night because it was making one of those little mattress Kaylin tacos.
No, it wasn't even that. Poor thing. She was on the ground.
Yeah.
It was sad.
Yeah. So she ended up sleeping actually in your parents' camper the last night. We had a separate mattress for Lacey. We actually borrowed one from a friend that was really, really good and comfy. You need to you need to make sure that you have a good air mattress and test it out. If you have one sitting in your closet and you're like, oh yeah, we used that last year when Aunt Betty came for Thanksgiving or something, blow the thing up like a day or two before you pack it and see how it does. If not, get a good one. You could get one on, Amazon or whatever, just delivered. There's ones at Walmart for like $25.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get those. They're not probably going to be comfy and last. And if you're doing multiple nights, it's one of those things about camping. Like you wake up the first day and you're like, it wasn't the best, but I slept pretty good for, being in a tent on an air mattress. And then after the second night, you're like, well, it was a little, kind of catching up. And after night 3, you're like, all right, this is, you know what I mean? Like, unless you really have something good and all for you, you can request sites through like touring plans the same way you can request a room.
Oh, good. So we could request towards the
comfort stations.
Comfort station.
And 2 reasons for me personally. If I'm sitting at the site in the middle of the day and I have to go to the bathroom, it's not a big deal to walk to the comfort station. There's, it's the one we had was around the other side of the loop, but whatever.
Yeah.
The main thing comes if it's 2 a.m. and you got to go to the bathroom.
Yep. And
Or just simply getting ready at night, right?
Yeah.
It's something you don't realize. Like, I got to brush my teeth. I got to take my contacts out. So maybe pack a mirror.
Yeah.
Really, we could have, if you had bottled water, you could go brush your teeth just out.
Yeah, Lacey did that one night because if you're on a tent site, you'll have water and electric, I believe, correct?
Yes. The only thing you don't have on the tent or pop-up site is sewer.
Okay.
So you still got water, you still got electric.
So my parents being on the site, they were hooked up to water. So unfortunately, it wasn't like we could just use the hose that was out there and brush our teeth or whatever. So, but you could take a little bowl, a little something, or
make sure again the heater, the AC is going to be necessary, extra blankets, you got to bring your own pillows. I think that was the part that I just kind of forgot is
when we were packing,
you have to just bring everything.
Yes.
We had to bring towels.
Yep.
You're not in a room, you go to use the comfort station, which again, by the way, I know a lot of people are listening, and this isn't for everyone. I totally get that. Doing this tent camping there is 1,000% not for everyone.
Right.
And somebody who said, I don't want a tent camp, I would never be like, well, that's ridiculous. You should do it here. It's awesome. No, you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. This is for the people that are like, you know what? I used to tent camp and I enjoyed it and I'd be interested again. This is for you or people that love it.
Yeah.
But you forget that you just have to bring every little thing. And those comfort stations are about as clean as any bathroom can be.
Yes.
They are held to a same high standard that the rest of Disney resort and property are.
Yes.
There are paved or concrete walkways from your site to every comfort station. It's not like you're walking through the woods or you're walking on dirt.
Right.
But I would recommend either water shoes or flip-flops.
Yep.
When you go to the comfort station and to shower in.
Yes.
Even though they are cleaning them, they're not cleaning these bathrooms after every single person.
Correct.
So if you go to shower in the night, there could have been 20 people in that same shower ahead of you, and we don't know what they're doing in there, let's be honest. So if you're wearing water shoes or you've got flip-flops, it's going to be an advantage to go ahead and just shower in those.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
If you have small children, I would look at bringing some sort of, if you can pack it, a tub or a bin to wash them in. You could wash them at your site, although that water's not going to get warm.
No.
So that would be kind of a tough one, maybe.
Yeah.
If you brought a portable stove, you put don't put babies on stoves. No, I just, there's all these little things that go through your mind. A cooler. Have a good cooler.
Yeah.
Ice does cost money. It's like $2.50 a bag.
Yeah.
You would maybe need a bag a day. It's not going to break the bank, but have a good cooler to hold food. We had bought a bin for regular pantry food, so you have all that type of stuff, and rent a golf cart.
Oh, yeah.
You agree?
Oh, 100%.
And that's a must. Honestly, I think it's a must if you're staying in Fort Wilderness. Whether you're in a cabin, a camper, or tent. Agree?
Yep. Completely.
And how much roughly was that? We had 3 days at
what is it?
$205?
It's $201. So what does that break down to? I think it's like 60.
It's around 60
something.
a day. Yep.
With tax.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah.
And you we got it at 1 p.m. on check-in day. And then on check-out day, again, same as your camper leaving by 11.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have it back.
And there's a couple reasons that I think having a golf cart is important. Number one is simply that there's a large internal bus system.
Yes.
Right? You can go to parks from the front on bus, or you
Yep.
can go to Magic Kingdom on the ferry, basically on the back end by the beach.
Yep.
And the settlement post and all. If you have a golf cart, you can drive it direct to either one of those locations,
Yep.
park it for the day, whatever, while you're at parks.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you're going to need to walk to the nearest bus stop, which is going to be at the end of your loop.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to then get on an internal bus, which has the potential to make several stops throughout.
Yep.
It's going to then drop you off at either the front or back.
Right.
And then you get on that transportation to the park. So again, if you're laid back, you're not worried about rushing to the parks, you're not rope dropping or anything.
Yep.
Maybe that's fine. Or maybe you pack bikes and you ride those up there. But a golf cart is key for that. Another reason a golf cart is key is they're so much fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, when you're like, you know what? Let's go to the pool. Let's go to the campsite, and movie at night.
Yep.
Let's just joyride
Yep.
around and look at all the sights and go looping,
Yep.
as they call it, especially during the
different
holidays.
campers. Oh, yeah. Especially during the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, they do it up big for Halloween. They do it up big for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, if you go out and join the original Fort Wilderness Scavenger Hunts Facebook group.
Mm-hmm. That's fun.
Yeah. What is that, Rhonda? And also, if you don't have a golf cart for this, you ain't getting any of the treats and the stuff you can find. But tell a little bit about this, because it is a blast.
Oh my goodness, it so is. So this awesome person started it,
Brian.
and I guess he just started hiding things around the campground. He bought Disney stuff, maybe, from a cheaper place around town or something, or, going to your Walmart before you leave, and it doesn't have to be Disney, but, it does seem that everybody does Disney. But yeah, you just go, and sometimes they'll be really hard, clues. And then sometimes they'll give them hints and stuff. But yeah, you just go, and there'll be a picture of what you can go find. There was actually this time around, there was some Starbucks tumblers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there was some major kind of good stuff.
Well, and what this is anybody in the community.
Yes.
Is what is great. So they joined this community. He only started it actually a little over a year ago, and it's already at almost 9,000 members.
Wow.
And it is anybody in this Facebook group can hide stuff.
Yep.
And then, like you said, they take a photo and they give a clue. And
it's a scavenger hunt. You just go
it's
try
amazing.
finding it.
And so you're in the Facebook group, and you might be hanging out at your campground, and you're in the Facebook group, and it pops up, and you're like, oh, here's this. I know exactly where that is at Clementine's Beach. And you go and you jump in your golf cart with everybody, and you drive down there, and maybe it's still there.
Yeah.
And maybe
it's not.
I mean, when we went Father's Day, I remember pulling up 3 or 4 times behind someone that got there just before us. And it's not even about, I mean, and there's some cool stuff. We brought back some cool ornaments that are now hanging on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've gotten some stuff that's been neat and fun, but it's not even what the little prize is that somebody has left for you. It's just the fun of it and the thrill of it.
And then if it's something that you find that, like, my girls are older, and if it's something for somebody younger, we can just go and re-hide that and just make it fun for somebody else, you know? So
and it even comes down to ones where they're very straight up, and it just says, hey, come to site 2143. We've got Jello shots, or we've got adult drinks, or I say a lot of these, come to site 600 and we've got pin trading set up for kids, or we've got goodie bags set out for kids. Like, so even some of that, but it's this incredible community that it's just so much fun to do.
Really
and
is.
A golf cart is key. Fort Wilderness is one of those spots where you really do not want to go, park open to close. You want to spend time here.
Yes, absolutely.
And a lot of folks will come here for 2 weeks or so in their campers, and they spend a lot of time at the campground and relaxing. A couple of the things, you want some good chairs to sit out, I mean, and honestly, you can get ones that are still comfy. I mean, we got ones from Buc-ee's for the girls for like, I think $6-7 or something. Those little bag chairs. And yeah, just come set up, have at it. There's so much to do here. We got in on Wednesday and Wednesday night. Right now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 5:30 to 8:30, they're doing food truck roundup.
Yes, which worked out really well on Wednesday when we got there.
So perfect for us. So we took the whole group, the whole lot of us. There's 10 of us doing this between us and your whole family and all. We all drove down there in the golf carts, and they've got a nice new playground built and set up. It's right there outside of Crockett's Tavern, Trails End. There's the settlement post in the shop right there, and they set up 4 different food trucks. So they had Apps food truck, which was kind of like burgers, sandwiches, some bowls. They had a cilantro urban eatery. They had Carousel's ice cream truck, and then a choose your cupcake truck.
Yes.
You guys got from the cilantro urban eatery, right?
Yes.
And these rotate every week. It's not like if somebody right now is there this coming week, these aren't probably going to be the trucks that are there. They're going to rotate them through. But we had excellent food.
Oh my goodness.
In an amazing setting.
So the Cilantro Urban Eatery actually had where you can make it a burrito or a bowl. And we all made it a bowl. And it was a pork bowl with cilantro rice. And Kaylin ate almost her entire bowl.
Yeah.
I ate mine. It was my mom, my dad, everybody. It was so good. And there were some plantains on the side. And chips and salsa, and holy moly, if I see this truck on Disney property again, I would definitely want to get from it again. It was so good.
Yeah. I mean, I love this atmosphere of it too. And like the cupcake truck, it was literally choose your own cupcake. Like,
that was neat. Yeah, it was.
You got to pick like your cake. You got to pick a filling, I think, and icing and toppings and all,
but
right?
there was already kind of like things that were made up.
Okay.
And it really reminded me of what's the one here that does them?
The Cami Cakes ones?
Maybe that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were super good.
Yeah.
Super moist, like super good. We got you a red velvet, and then I didn't even take a bite of that. And then we got a like a strawberry, which was so kind of refreshing and like light, actually. Yeah. So I really liked it.
Yeah. And again, this atmosphere, the sun is set, 5:30 here and end of November, the sun has set, but it's lit up with the Christmas lights all around. There are some trees there that are surrounding this area. You have the lights coming off of the buildings and like Crockett's Tavern and Trails Inn. There's picnic tables everywhere. And it's just this like vibe.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's great. And it's very chill. Like, you go up and you order and everything is going to be ready probably in like 10 minutes or so, because they're pretty much making it fresh, but you're just like, okay. Like, it's not, it doesn't feel like your standard, like kind of quick service. We're like, all right, I want my food. Let's go. Yeah. It's just such a cool vibe.
Yeah.
And then, from after that, then depending on, I mean, it's going to be a little bit later, but let's just say you go, and this is basically what we did. You go, all right, we're done eating. Let's go looping.
Yep.
Let's look at the decor. Let's look at the campers, and then made our way back down to Clementine Beach to watch the fireworks from Enchantment.
Yay.
Which is a wonderful spot to see the fireworks. And of course, you're not getting anything else like projections or seeing the castle, but the fireworks alone, watching them burst over the tree line and the water and reflecting off the water while you're sitting on a beach.
Standing.
It's just or standing.
Not a lot of seating, but there is some like round tables, and there are some seats around.
There's still a lot of, I mean, literally still half of the beach is shut down due to the overflow of construction that was happening next door at Reflections. So a lot of that is still in limbo, but it's a wonderful spot to sit there.
My only complaint, I feel like, and I was sad about, you could hear the music, but it wasn't loud. It was very
I feel like they need to work on the speaker system, because it used to be much louder, because they do pump the music in.
So So
the only difference is interesting, not that you would really notice, is of course you have the slightest delay.
Yeah.
In a sense, so the timing of the fireworks are just ever so slightly off from the music.
Yeah.
Because your brain, or your eyes and your ears have to have that travel to you, which is kind of interesting, but it's still just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So we had a wonderful, wonderful first day and
Oh
evening,
my goodness, yes.
and we never left the campsite.
Absolutely.
Right? And
Yep.
we had been there since 11 a.m.
Yep. And it was nice and cool, and it was so funny because it was so cool that I actually had to wear my beanie like when we were on the golf cart on my head because I was freezing, and then we ended up taking blankets on the golf cart and putting them over our laps.
Yeah. We could have not asked for better.
The weather was
overall.
amazing in Orlando because I know it was
Yes.
definitely colder up here in St. Augustine. So I'm super happy it wasn't colder in Orlando.
Yeah.
But that was also a lot of my clients' is like first question, like, oh my gosh, did you freeze? And I'm like, no, actually, with our heater and then our blankets, we'd step in the tent at night from the outside and I'd go, oh, it's so nice and warm in here.
Yeah,
And,
it felt like sitting in front of a nice cozy fireplace.
And
it really
we had
did.
it at it's neat, the fire I almost said the fireplace, the heater that we have, you can set it to only come on when it's like 71 or 2.
Yeah.
So it's still cool in the tent. It's not like it's this hot box of a place. So it was really cool.
Yeah, as far as temperatures go, sleeping at night, I was perfect.
Yeah.
Really, really was. And I wasn't sure which way that was going to go. But wonderful Wednesday. Woke up Thursday morning, Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you and I did something that I have wanted to do for so long. Cross it off the list. We went to Magic Kingdom on Thanksgiving morning.
Yep.
And we
We
rode
sure
the ferry over.
Yep.
And we had no plans.
Nope.
Really. We were like, you know what? We want to get a coffee.
Yep.
We want to get some sort of drink. So we went into Starbucks.
And we got there because we were staying on property, so we were 30 minutes early, which was honestly, I hate to say it this way, because we were going straight to Starbucks. That was a huge difference being 30 minutes.
It made all the difference,
All
in
the
the
difference
world
in the world.
to be 30 minutes early, because by the time we were exiting the Starbucks, like we walked in. The line didn't start until the doorway.
Yes.
Or end until the doorway.
Right.
Where normally it's going all the way down the street, almost to the confectionery.
Yep.
And by the time we were coming out, it was getting close to that.
Yes.
But we got a little 50th tiny Starbucks mug ornament. What is it? Oh gosh, what is it called?
Been there.
Been there. Isn't it? Yeah, been here, been there. I don't know. Been somewhere. You've been everywhere. But we got a little ornament of that, and it is for the 50th.
Yeah.
We got our drinks, and then we got a little 50th anniversary treat.
We did. And what was our drinks? Because this is why I wanted to go. You were wanting to go to Cheshire Cat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh, but I really want a sugar cookie almond milk latte.
Yeah. And then I told you just get me the same thing.
And it was
really
so good.
good.
But I get you a 1 espresso because Jeremy
Yes.
feels a little extra jittery when he has 2 espressos.
I do.
So we ordered that. We went and sat in
Right outside of the ice cream plaza. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. And then took pictures and then sat there and watched. Well, you got up and you were live streaming and I heard it. I couldn't see because I was sitting and everything. But the opening.
Yeah, the Let the Magic Begin stage show.
It was so cool. And I heard all Mickey and Minnie and was it Donald and Pluto and Goofy. And so that was just super cool.
It was neat, and it's just, it's not like you walk in and it's like, oh, hey, it's Thanksgiving. You only know in your brain.
Right, because it was more like, hey, it's Christmas.
I know. But I absolutely loved it. And then we got this little 50th anniversary treat.
What was that?
So it was inside. It had the outside was all blue, the 50th blue, and it had a little 50th like emblem, white chocolate emblem on it. Inside was like a very light, very flavorful strawberry, and then chocolate mousse.
Yep.
So it was like almost like I'm only using the term Twinkie to give you a visual representation.
Yes,
this is
it
not
had
a
no
Twinkie.
breading on it.
No, but it's like the same size and it's round.
Yep.
And think of the cream filling of the Twinkie. That was actually strawberry mousse. And instead of that outside cake breading, that was the chocolate mousse.
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole thing was covered in I believe it might have been like a white chocolate, but it had been dyed blue.
Okay.
And it was the best
really
breakfast dessert you could ask for. Because this is straight up dessert.
Yeah, it was.
But it didn't feel like it because it wasn't overly sweet. It was
That's
very,
true.
very light.
Yes.
And I like, honestly, if we went back and you're like, hey, let's get that again, I would say let's get 2.
Really?
Yeah. I've really, really enjoyed the 50th dessert treats that we've had.
Yeah.
Our good friend Rachel is there right now and just sent us one of like a double chocolate cookie ice cream sandwich that's for the 50th.
She said it was
so
so good. Yeah.
We had the 50th cupcake with Kat from the Boardwalk bakery.
So
that was delicious. We've had a couple other things. So they've really been doing a good job as far as all that goes. Of course, we did some shopping.
Yeah. So we were going to go shopping first, and then that's when we were like, let's go to Starbucks.
Yeah,
because
thought we better knock this out.
Which was smart of us.
Yes.
So we went to do some shopping. Got my Christmas spirit jersey.
Yep.
And got the wreath ears. And then
there wasn't a ton. I mean, there wasn't a ton of new stuff, but we just wanted to kind of continue to walk around, so we see if some things had gotten back in stock that were maybe out of sizes last time.
Curious of the 50s stuff, and if there was anything new in there.
Right, because they're slowly bringing out some new stuff, you know. So you kind of got to continually check back. Then I started to think, well, wait a second, mini sipper. We were not able to acquire the 50th Minnie Mouse sipper. We have the Mickey Mouse popcorn bucket, and I was like, we got to get her. Last time we had checked that she was selling out. And again, they are restocking for 18 months.
Yes.
Most of this stuff is not limited. So again, stop punching people over tumblers.
And not only did we get ours, but Rachel is there now. And this is, 2 weeks later, a week later, and she got hers.
Yeah.
So,
And what I love about doing this is that you can mobile order them.
Yes.
So I went right into the mobile order app and MDE, or mobile order section, and went to Cosmic Rays because we knew they were supposed to be there.
Yep.
And there she was listed in all her glory.
Yay.
I clicked her. Return time, I think it was like 10:30 because that's when they were actually opening. And so we basically showed up at 10:30. We were able to walk in, and they'll give you your sipper, and then they'll give you a drink. They're not putting the drink in her, which we don't want because we're not even there for the drink. I'm like, you can keep your drink, but honestly, I wanted a Diet Coke at that point. It was I don't drink a lot of soda, but a fountain Diet Coke just every once in a while is like the best thing ever.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was so good.
Good.
So we kind of we're going through there, and then I thought, oh, you know what? The new Coco scene is premiered. It had just premiered about 10 days earlier in Phil Her Magic.
Yep.
We had not seen Phil Her Magic in a very, very long time. Why? Even without the Coco scene, I think I forget
how good it is.
Good.
Yeah, I do
this
too.
show is.
I do too. I think because, I think because we're not there in the park so much where we need that break, and this is a perfect break to take where you're inside.
Don't you dare sleep in here, Rhonda.
No. I'm talking to get out of the heat in the summer, to go in and get some cool air. But this is really, I really forgot about this too, and it was really good. But the Coco scene,
it is
holy
absolutely
moly.
Stunning.
Yeah. So if y'all pass by this, I would say don't pass by it and go see it. It was good. Really good.
I mean, if you think the movie was beautiful, this takes it to a level because you're put inside of it with the 3D.
Yeah.
And when most of the time when movies come out nowadays, they always have that 3D option.
Yeah.
But the movie isn't made for a 3D experience.
Right.
It's just a movie that is 3D. They're building these scenes specifically for 3D. So this truly puts you into the scenes and the landscapes of Coco. And it was so good.
Yeah.
I would love Frozen in here.
Oh,
and Olaf.
that'd be cool.
Donald and Olaf interacting with each other.
That'd be cool.
That would be
That'd be
absolutely
really
amazing. And of course, while we were here, we had to get a ride on the People Mover.
Yep.
But and that was it, and we had to head back. We knew we weren't going to spend a lot of time.
Right, because this was Thanksgiving Day, and we needed to get back and start cooking the turkey.
Yeah. Which if you said, all right, we've got 3 families, 10 people, 2 of them have campers, 1 of them have a tent. Who would like to volunteer to cook a whole turkey, and bring a ham? We should have been the last people to raise our hands being in a tent. But we volunteered for that. Because we spearheaded this whole idea. And so it was like, let's offer the main dish, the main attractions,
Mhm.
and then the rest of your family can provide the normal sides,
Yep.
and they'll have their campers and ovens and
Yep.
and stuff like that. So I had brought my Charbroil Big Easy oil-less fryer.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend this thing enough.
Oh my
Even if all you
goodness.
do is cook one turkey in it a year,
Yeah.
it is worth the money.
Yeah.
You can get like Academy Sports, Dick's Sporting Good. You can probably order it online. I think they're under $100, and it's propane,
Right.
but it uses it's deep frying without submerging in oil. And it's got a heating element on the bottom, and then it's basically got like a 2-sided walls going around it, and the heat rises up those walls and then permeates in the middle and somehow cooks an entire turkey as though you were frying it in oil, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's absolutely insane.
Yes. And it is
Oh, you're looking it up right now.
$159.
Okay, I think it went up. I got this thing years ago. But you can do I've done whole chickens in here.
Mm.
You can do chicken wings. They have a little rack for that. I've done pork roast. This thing is cool.
But it really is. And I bought it for Jeremy because, first of all, like, we did actually a long time ago, back when we were first married, I was pregnant with, I believe, Kaylin. And we did
Christmas Day at your
fry
parents'.
a turkey
Yeah.
in full oil.
It is the most horrifying and stressful experience
is.
you will ever
Yeah.
have.
This is amazing. I mean, you don't have to really worry about anything. And what's funny too is the bird. We got a frozen bird because there was no fresh. And even
bought
if
it
they
like 2
are
weeks
fresh,
ahead of time,
right?
yeah.
And even if they are fresh, they're still a little bit frozen. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So we put it in the fridge like normal. Then it was in our cooler and ice, and unfortunately, it was still a little frozen.
Mhm.
So I talked to my mommy because she knows all, I feel like, and she said to put it in the water bath while we went to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So then we come back and we get back, and but on our way out, I did mobile order. My mother loves caramel apples.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to the confectionery, and they also had a 50th marshmallow Mickey, like with the M&Ms on top.
Mhm.
And that was a 50th treat that I got for the girls, and it was very good. White chocolate. They
Mhm.
love white chocolate.
Yeah.
So we
too.
stopped in there real quick to get that, and then we headed back to the campground to stay for the rest of the day, correct? On Thanksgiving Day. Yeah.
Yeah, we went that night to Disney Springs.
That's right.
But
with the whole family.
But with this thing, I mean, if you have even the smallest bit of too much water or ice inside of a turkey and you submerge it in actual oil, I know y'all have seen the videos. That thing,
it'll blow up.
you get a turkey rocket basically, and it will.
Jeez,
not only that,
crazy.
it would have. I mean, where we had done it, it would have literally burnt down our entire tent and your parents' camper probably if we had gone that route. So this
That'd
one,
have been
that's why
horrible.
another thing I like about this.
Yeah,
it's safe.
It
and
is.
There's almost no cleanup because
Yeah.
I hated having to deal with a big huge bucket of oil
Oh yeah.
after you were done.
Yeah.
So Charbroil, that's your sponsor. That's your advertising right there. You can send my check whenever you get a chance. But loved it. So we were going to literally do that and do the turkey, and it takes like 2.5 hours for a 15-pound turkey.
Mhm.
So half the time is in an oven. And honestly, your parents or your brother, I know they have like ovens in their camper, but not for a 15-pound turkey.
No, when my
They're
mommy
much
opened,
smaller
yeah,
ovens.
I watched her open the oven, and I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
we couldn't have even done the turkey.
Other options, and again, this is straight up of saying if you're going to do like a holiday or you're going to do something like that at the fort, you could certainly get everything done from Publix. I mean, Publix, if you walk, still right now, we just were in Publix earlier, and they have full cooked, ready to go turkeys. They have full,
Really?
they have full things of like dressing and green beans and sweet potato casserole that all you'd have to do is put in some sort of heating element. Now, again, that's going to be hard if you're in a tent, but certainly if you have a camper and an oven, you
Right.
could do that. Or you could simply have it catered.
Yeah.
If you go out to Ear for Each Other, the Facebook group, it is all cast members, that were furloughed, laid off, and they offer things. There's lots of private chefs out there, chefs that will prepare meals, bring them to the resort, bring them to the campground. So there's a lot of options to do that. We just thought we wanted to go a little traditional and kind of do this thing.
Yeah.
And it turned out wonderful.
It really did.
It was so neat. We took everything and we like put it on the golf cart because your brother and their site was just about 6-7 away in the same loop. And we drove the golf cart over, and Ginger had a nice table all set up for the
beautiful.
food, and we all sat outside and had Thanksgiving, and
it was amazing.
But because it felt like Thanksgiving. Like years ago, we camped at Clearwater.
Hated it.
And we went to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like Thanksgiving.
No.
And this did.
Yes.
Just in a different setting.
Yep.
All the traditional
amazing.
stuff was there. So I really, really liked it. Everything turned out, I think, the way that we wanted.
Yep.
And I would definitely do that style of thing again.
Yeah. But next time maybe in a camper.
We'll wrap up with that. So on Thanksgiving Day, a lot of the resorts will do special things.
Yep.
Fort Wilderness certainly was going all out.
Oh, yeah.
We were busy. We did not get to experience any of these, but they had a special scavenger hunt was going all day long. You could get a clue guide, pick it up at the bike barn. Christopher Robin's cornhole tournament was that morning, which I totally forgot about because I wanted to go with your brother and us try and compete.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been a blast. They had Tigger's Turkey Ball Brawl Dodgeball Tournament.
Wow.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. They had the 100 Acre Woods Craft Corner, which is a cost, but that's where you can do, you can make actually Pooh's Honeybee Slime or Eeyore's Do-It-Yourself Pillows.
Aww.
Then, to let me know if you're starting to see a theme of the day, then they had Piglet's Poolside Games, which are their normal games around the Meadows swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving Disney Trivia Challenge was that evening at the Campfire Theater. Campfires lit at 7:30 p.m. There currently still is not a sing-along, and there is no Chip and Dale, but you can get the campfire, bring s'mores, things like that. And then finally at 8 p.m., movie Under the Stars with Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
The movie Christopher Robin.
Yep.
He wasn't actually there. So Winnie the Pooh theme all day long.
It was cute.
Lots of fun activities. We decided to go check out Disney Springs that evening.
For the tree
for the tree stroll, along with all of the other people that were at Disney.
Oh my goodness.
It was busy.
I think everybody ate dinner and was like,
I gotta walk this off.
I gotta walk it off. We're going to Disney Springs. Holy moly. If we weren't trying to like do stuff and work and get some live streams and go shopping again, and we'd have probably turned around.
I would have almost gotten off that bus and been like, well, okay, this is cool. Let's get back on the bus. Excuse me, sir, have you left yet? Because it was nuts.
It was.
Yeah,
to
nuts
butts.
to butts. It really was. But we had a wonderful time.
We did. And we got our little tree trail button.
Yep.
Or tree stroll. Sorry.
Yes.
I keep saying tree trail. But yeah, and it was neat. It was a ton of people, but it was neat to walk around. We saw Tammy. That was great.
Yes, Tammy and Jody we ran into.
Yep.
It was crazy. I'm so glad we went though.
I am too. It was
wonderful
nice
seeing the trees and all,
and get my parents there and my brother and Ginger because they don't ever really go, so that was great. And it was just enough time, and we were like, all right, let's head on back home.
Yeah, so we went back and we checked out, we actually went down and watched a little bit of Christopher Robin.
Yep.
Checked some of that out. And then the thing that I think is worth a stay at Fort Wilderness alone. Now, you can also get this over at Poly and Contemporary, Grand Flow, it goes through, Wilderness Lodge, but it's not the same as, again, sitting or standing on Clementine's Beach and watching the electrical water pageant, which has been around for 50 years.
Oh, really? It was originally?
Yes, and has a nice new ending scene.
That was cool.
For Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary.
That was super cool.
Which it's so good. And again, you can catch this at the other resorts. I just think it's so perfect because it's so fitting to Fort Wilderness. One, I know Poly and Contemporary were there from the beginning, but Fort Wilderness, again, has that nostalgic old feel where it really hasn't changed much in 50 years.
No.
Yeah.
The
cabins on the inside, been renovated and all, and obviously they've done their upkeep, but it's not, really in so many ways, you could almost walk through it 50 years ago and it's going to feel very the same in general.
Right.
Whereas, and we can talk a little bit more about the Contemporary lobby when we do the Steakhouse 71 episode. It's completely different.
Yeah.
The Poly has gone through major changes. So,
Yeah.
I think that's why in the electrical water pageant, like the electrical Main Street Parade and all those, it is that nostalgic
Yep.
50-year ago feel.
Yep.
And it's still old school. Again, it's still the same.
I will say it. I like though too how like loud it was.
Oh, that thing was pumping. They need those speakers on the beach because it's coming from the boats.
It was amazing. I mean, we were in our tent the one night and I heard it because I was in there, I guess, for early or something. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
Is that the night that you ran and caught the very end?
Yes, I did.
So then the next night.
Yeah, I only caught the last boat of the 50th. So the next night we specifically planned.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. I could hear the beginning of it from our campsite.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and I rushed out and got on the golf cart and went down. Wrapping this up. 2 questions. Are you glad that we did this? And second question, will you do it again?
I'm glad that we did it.
Okay.
Because it made you very happy and I like to see you happy. Do I want to do this again? No.
Okay.
Unless we have maybe single air mattresses, maybe.
What if it was you, me? So, see, here's the thing for me. Well, I'm so glad we did this, and thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank your parents and your family and everything. I mean, seriously, I'm really glad we did this. I thought this was a perfect time to do it for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, the weather was great.
Yep.
The having the site was great. That nice big site. We were all on concrete, which was perfect. And of course, we had the air mattresses. I would do this again, but like we do everything, we tend to go overboard.
Mm-hmm.
I think we packed so much. There was some difficulty also in thinking of, all right, once we check out after 3 nights, we have to go stay in a hotel for a night. So there was really some thought around how do we pack? And I packed 3 times as many clothes as I wore.
I did too.
So I think there can be some better planning.
Yeah.
I think next time we packed way too many snacks.
Yeah.
I could see next time going, all right, maybe it's me and you. Maybe it's in a weekend in like a cooler month. Maybe we don't need to take that giant tent. Although actually I would.
Yeah.
I would take that
I would
giant
want
tent.
the big tent.
Yeah. We could have our own room and then all our stuff in another room.
But I also, if I ever did this again, I would want separate air mattresses, I believe. Because first night I felt like Goldilocks.
Well, I move a lot.
You do.
And you feel everything in an air mattress.
First night, though, I felt like Goldilocks. It was a little too soft. So I aired it up a little bit more on the second night. Then it was a little too hard. By the third night, my body was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I think I would want separate air mattresses and I could try that.
Yeah.
But I'd also want to be literally right next to a comfort station if possible.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's the setup and breakdown that is so time consuming and intensive. But then once you're done, that middle portion is really, really great. So I could see it being where we go, all right, we have a tent, we have our suitcase, we have our air mattress, we have our 2 bag chairs, right? And then of course we have a bin with like the little bit of electrical stuff, whatever else we need, bedding. Right. And then when we get there, we'll either order shipped and get a couple snacks, or we'll just budget to just eat. Okay. We eat at places. So I could see doing it again. I'm not going to rush to do it again. But I do enjoy it in a way. And I'm telling you, and like I said before, if you're not a camping person, you're not a camping person. Don't come do this and then be like, we didn't like it. You're not going to. And
I would rather, if you give me an option, I would actually rather do the Airbnb.
Oh, no, 100%. That's what we'll try again next time.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get one.
Cabin.
Yes, completely. But I think this is a neat, fun experience. But overall, in general, whether you're tent and that is your thing, whether you're camper, that's cool. Cabin, pretty much I think is for everyone. I know we've said it before, there is nothing like Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
And especially on a cool morning or cool evening, there's nothing like sitting out in your bag chair with friends and family and enjoying just the cool, crisp air, driving around. Everybody there is like it's like family.
Yeah.
Everybody will end up chatting and about each other's campers or where they're from, or it's just such a cool experience and atmosphere that I highly, highly recommend to everyone in general. We will be back. It's the thing I miss the most about our old camper is being able to just say, let's go camp at Fort Wilderness, like whenever we want, in a sense,
Yep.
you know? Other thing in general, not just holidays, if you do want to experience Fort Wilderness, do it in far advance as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Contact Melissa Pilgrim with Years of Experience. Yep. You can go to msmears.com, fill out that quote.
Yep.
Because she can also help if you can't find a site. She can help, keep an eye out when one's maybe open. And then finally, join any of the big Fort Wilderness specific Facebook groups that you can. Because a lot of times people in there will say, hey, I'm getting ready to cancel in March these 4 days if anybody can use them. And a lot of times they'll try and coordinate with you.
Can Melissa also find a camper?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that'd be separate.
That'd be on your own.
But in those groups, a lot of those groups have very specific outside companies that they recommend and use.
Okay.
And a lot of them will offer deals.
Okay.
So again, something to look at, but also look at Airbnb. I found one guy in specific that I think owned 3 or 4 campers.
Yep. I want to do that.
So I really want to do it. And they're sweet. They're nice.
Let's do it.
Well,
that'll be our next one.
Okay. We'll try that for next time. We'll have a whole new experience to bring you guys. I'm glad that we had this experience to bring to you because it truly was unique and different from many of our other Disney trips.
Yep.
And we got a lot more coming up. We'll be at Universal and Disney for the holidays in just under 2 weeks from now. We've got our opening of Festival of the Arts planned for January. We've got, I don't even know what else coming up, but we've got some good stuff coming up. So wonderlandcrew.com is kind of get all the inside info on that. And of course, the Main Street Magic community on Facebook is great. And at Main ST Magic on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. As long as you're out there, you can go ahead and subscribe. You get those brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And you could also, if you have a minute, leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.